This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glyn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 586 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me once again from Melbourne, Victoria, from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, it is Mr. Glyn Lavender. How are you?
Did you say 586?
I did.
That's quite a lot.
It is a lot of waffle.
Yes, it is a bit of waffle. As I always say when I'm introducing the podcast at talks and stuff, there's 500 plus hours of content and 15 minutes of it's good.
Yeah.
So have fun finding it, you know?
Yeah, something like that. How have you been?
You know, first and foremost, before we get into that, welcome back.
Thank you, mate.
It's good to have you back.
I know. It's only 3 weeks since we got back.
Well, that's your fault.
We just had trouble trying to coordinate on a day that worked.
Well, we were going to try for last week, and I had photo events on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, which made it very tricky. So I did 2 Camera Club talks and an event with Tamron. So.
The first week back, both of us were crook.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm still trying to shake this cold.
I've still got a bit of a cough.
Yeah.
But it's see, now you say it makes me want to cough. Persistent little bugger.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gone around the whole family, of course. So everyone's
of course, right?
Of course, yeah. In fact, my eldest and his partner, who now lives with us, if you remember from last episode.
Oh, okay. Didn't realise he was living with you, but okay.
Oh, yeah, living. Oh, yeah. So had an emergency evacuation out of New South Wales,
right,
and moved to Victoria to live. And as he has no support and no money and no job, he has nowhere else to live but with us. So we now have a semi-permanent new body in the house, which is
challenging.
It has, but you know, I've always, my entire life, it's always been, if I've got a place and someone needs it, they can have it.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
So this is the third person who's lived with us in the 20 odd years we've been here.
Wow.
So my brother lived with us for like 3 years.
Wow.
My best mate Adam lived with us for like 3 years.
Right.
And Victor looks like he might be here for 25 years. For a while anyway, you know.
Yeah, right.
So but that's what you do. You gotta if you can, you do.
Yeah.
You know, because if people are in a bad way and they just need some sort of support and you can offer that, well,
that's it.
And he was in an unsafe living environment where there was propensity to violence against him and possibility of severe violence against him. So it's crap. Like, and that's just by your mum and dad.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's like, get out of there, get down here, and we'll work it out. So that's it's okay. He's been here, I think, about 3 weeks now. He's been sick the whole time. I think he's been sick the whole time. Poor bugger.
God. Oh dear.
So that's what I've been up to mostly since you've been away. So you've been off gallivanting, having fun.
Yep.
I had to try and source bedding and beds and all sorts of stuff. I tried to get a caravan for the backyard, but no one had one to give to me. So.
Oh, okay.
On a loaner basis, I thought that'd be kind of good. Give somebody a bit of their own space, kind of thing. But not to be.
Mate, I lived in a caravan when I was living with my grandparents in 1983. We had this 3-bedroom house, and all of the bedrooms were taken. And grandfather had this caravan that we used to take away on holidays, and so he parked it around the side of the house and ran AC power out to it for me, and that became my bedroom for the year.
We did that for my brother in the backyard of one of our houses,
right?
And we ran the power cord from the house down to the caravan. It was a metal caravan, and right next door was the metal garage. And one night in the pouring rain, he was saying goodbye to his mate, and he's touched the caravan on one side and touched the garage on the other side, and there was a short, and he's basically he was mid-air, sort of crucified until he fell, and then the ambulance came and took him away. And me and my mate Dave across the road were having bets if he'd make it, but we lost. And many years later, we moved in with us. Yeah, that's funny. So, in fact, my parents, when they first got together, they lived in a caravan in a farmer's field.
Right.
Yeah. No plumbing.
Okay.
I think they must have had electricity. I don't know. I never got to ask them if they had electricity, but no plumbing. And in the winter, they had to go out and shovel snow into a bucket to melt so they could have water.
This is sounding a little bit like the Four Yorkshiremen.
Well, it's funny, wasn't it? It was in Yorkshire.
Bayernmad.
How was the trip, dude?
Mate, amazing. Absolutely jaw-droppingly amazing.
Really?
Honestly, Croatia, you are hard-pressed to take a bad photo. Like, everywhere you look...
I saw some of yours.
Yeah, thank you. Everywhere you look, it is just so photographic, so photogenic, you know. The people were lovely. The food was fantastic. My God, they love their pizza.
Really?
Like they love pizza the way America loves Starbucks. Like every second shop is a pizza shop.
So that's not something you imagine, is it?
And it is way better pizza than you'll get in Australia.
Really?
It is just phenomenal. Kath is not a big pizza person. I think we had about 5 or 6 pizzas in the 3 weeks that we were gone, you know. For her, one pizza, you know, maybe every 6 to 8 weeks is normally enough. And she was like, I can't get enough of these pizzas. They're great.
That's amazing. So what was so good about them?
They weren't greasy on the bottom like so many Australian pizzas are.
Yeah.
The thing that blew me away about the food in general that I noticed, you know, sort of a week or so in, was just that everything is made with fresh produce.
Yeah.
You know, there was so little of any type of processed food. You know, I mean, I'm sure you could find it if you went looking for it, but it just seemed that everywhere we went, everything was cooked fresh, using fresh ingredients. Yeah, and the pizzas were like that. You know, they were freshly made dough, you know, that was light and fluffy. They were always cooked in a wood-fired pizza. They weren't cooked in an electric oven. So you got that nice smokiness. And I think we didn't actually ask, but we're just going on what we observed. It seemed that what they do is that they, you know, they'll spread out the dough for the base, and they'll spread the sauce on it, and they'll put the cheese on top of the sauce, and then they cook it, and then they throw the meat and the herbs on top after it's cooked.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so the meats aren't cooked.
Did it then go back in and cook up again? Or no, wow.
No, because most of the time the meat was things like prosciutto and you know that you know, sort of light ham kind of meat, but just beautiful, just great.
So it wasn't raw chicken, so
no raw chicken on the pizzas, no. But yeah, just had the most amazing time. As I had said, you know, the deal was that for the first 2 weeks, we hired a car, drove ourselves all around the country and 4 neighbouring countries in 2 weeks. So we did 5 countries all up, and then finished in Dubrovnik, which is right down the south coast of Croatia, where we jumped on a 40-metre, so 120-foot cruise ship that had...
Is that wide?
No, length.
Or long. Okay, yeah. Or height.
Had 20 cabins, but there were only 19 booked. So there were 38 guests on board and 8 crew.
Just like 1 every 3 feet for people.
Yeah. It was fantastic. And it was just this 7-night island hopping cruise that just slowly made its way north up the coast. Was originally supposed to terminate at Split, but as I think I mentioned before we went, they're doing renovation works on the port in Split, so they finished in Trogir, which is just a little bit further north than Split, which actually worked out quite well because Split Airport which was where we were flying out from, is actually closer to Trogir than it is to Split.
That's funny, isn't it?
So that worked out pretty well. Something that we did do during our 7-night island hopping cruise was we hired scooters on 3 occasions.
On the cruise ship? What, just go up and down the deck?
Yeah. Yeah. You'd basically cruise during the morning and you'd pull into, one of these islands, around mid-afternoon, and then you'd basically be there either until dusk or quite often until the middle of the night, and then you'd pull out and start sailing somewhere in the middle of the night. So it meant that you had all of the afternoon and the evening on the island.
What time was it going dark?
Oh, over there it was like 8:30.
Okay, it's not too bad, yeah.
Yeah, and quite often we were landing, by 2:30, 3 o'clock. So, the first couple of islands, we sort of realised, there's only so far you can walk, or want to walk. And so, came the third island, and Kath said, "How do you feel about hiring a scooter?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah." I'd been thinking of it, but I wasn't going to suggest it because I didn't think you'd be up for it.
Was it a kick-along scooter or was it electric?
No. Like a motorbike, motorbike scooter, like a...
No, it zips along.
Yeah, so we did that, and that was great because that gave us the freedom to then go and explore these islands to a much greater extent than the rest of the tourists on board our ship, because I don't think anybody else bothered to hire a scooter. It's kind of handy that I have a motorcycle license because over there, if you don't have a motorbike license, they'll only hire you a 50cc scooter, and that tends to be pretty gutless. It'll do with 2 of you on board as long as you're not trying to go up any steep hills, and there are a lot of steep hills. So having a motorcycle license, I was able to hire a 250, 300cc scooter.
Wow.
And we could go belting all over the island, and so
how awesome.
We did that.
That's a great way to see it.
It was amazing. And I'd taken the GoPro and had the little screw-on handle for the GoPro, so I gave that to Kath and said, shoot some video while we're riding along. So we got all sorts of bits of video of us riding along on our scooter, and it was a phenomenal trip.
Now I did see a post about everything starting to look the same.
Yes, that was towards the end, and it was like I loved shooting all of these old alleyways. Like all the towns in Croatia have an quote-unquote old town in the middle, and generally it's surrounded by a...
So like from the 1970s, that's pretty old. Yeah.
Yeah, more like from the 1170s, but anyway. But they're generally surrounded by this, massive brick wall that's probably 30 feet high, and everything that's inside that tends to be UNESCO protected. Yeah. So, renovations are minimal, and if they are done, they have to be... like heritage listing in Australia, you've got to stick within the look of the time.
Certain parameters, yeah.
But then outside the old town, you'll have, all of the new development. And everything, like inside these old towns, you just had all of these gorgeous old alleyways. You're looking at cobblestones that have been there for 1,000 years and are so smooth because people have been walking on them for 1,000 years, and these sandstone and limestone buildings that just look old and gnarly and textured, and you get in there at night time, when it's all lit with tungsten lighting, and you're getting all those beautiful rich orange hues reflecting off the bricks, and it just looks amazing, and like I said, you just can't go wrong with it. And so pretty much on every one of these islands, if we were there during the evening, I'd say to Kath, look, you can come with me or you can stay here on the boat, but I'm going out wandering the alleyways taking photos, And a couple of nights she came with me, and then she got jack of that. For the last few, I was doing it by myself. But yes, I did start to feel by the end of it, I'm like, Yeah, it's all just starting to look the same now. Like it's gorgeous. Like, don't get me wrong, it was
absolutely
beautiful. But once you've taken, 100, 200 pictures of, tungsten lit alleyways at night, it all starts to look a bit same.
We have an acronym in India, NAFF, NAF, not another fort, and in England it's not another castle or another church.
Yes.
It's all amazing.
Yes.
But when you've seen 800 of them, it's like, and
it was a bit like that with churches as well, because most of these old towns were, centered around a cathedral on top of the hill, and you quite often...
I used to live in Norwich in England,
right?
And Norwich was famous at one time for having a pub for every day,
right,
and a church for every week. But all the churches are like Norman church. They're all 800, 1,000 years old. But there's like 52 of them in a very small town.
Wow.
Plus cathedrals, and then there's all these. Like my local pub was built in 1154.
Wow!
Right? But there's 300. It's cool, but
there's another one a stone's throw away.
You just turn a corner, another one, and that's the same. Amazing cobblestone laneway after amazing cobbles. Yeah, it's the brain does tire of.
And you walk into these churches, and they have, these grave slabs on the floor that you just walk straight over the top of, and then you look at the dates and you see, it's like 1,000-year-old grave, and it's like,
that's amazing.
Wow.
And that's just what we don't get over here, of course.
And I said exactly that to the cruise director on the ship. I said, the thing about what we as Australians find so enthralling about this is that, your history dates back millennia. Ours only dates back 200 years.
White history. We can go see 50,000-year-old cave art.
Absolutely, yes.
Should we choose to?
Yes.
But it's that's on a whole other level again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's like, anything you have an interest in that has history, there's probably going to be tons of them, and it's at some point, you go to France and see vineyards. Okay, after how many, how many do you want to see? And as awesome as they all are, and that's one of the trickiest things about running tours, to try and have enough variety so you're not just seeing the same stuff over and over again. Each day is a visual feast for the eyes. It's not just, I'm looking for someone different in the same places I've been looking at the last week. You know? So it's always that challenge to keep refreshing the eye. You know? And you'd find that with you taking the photos in these laneways. Eventually, you just don't take it. It looks great. Or you might take one or two. You're not going to put the effort and time and care into crafting an image because it's you've got 52 of them already.
Once I got to that point of feeling like I couldn't be putting the time and effort into another laneway shot, that was when I just turned the camera off and walked back to the ship. It's like I'm not going to keep shooting it if I've lost the passion for it.
And then it's kind of good just to walk around and look with your eyes rather than look with the camera.
I would have to say the highlight for me, and this might seem weird, on the northwestern corner of Croatia, you have a peninsula called Istria. And the Istrian Peninsula, it's probably only 60 kilometres from tip to the top. But right at the southern tip of that peninsula is a town called Pula. And I wanted to go to Pula because Pula has the arena. And the arena is this sandstone, I cringe to call it a replica, but it is like the Colosseum in Rome.
This is not a replica. I mean, they built to a certain the same standard. The same stuff.
Exactly.
You find there's lots of Colosseums. This just happens to be the Roman Colosseum. The Rome Colosseum, not the Roman, the Rome Colosseum.
The thing that attracted me to this one at Pula was I knew it didn't get the amount of tourism that the Colosseum gets. So the day that we were going to head down there, I asked Gemini, what's the best time of day to shoot this? Is it best, shoot it in the morning or best to shoot it in the evening? Gemini said, well, it does face west, so, sunset could work pretty well. So I went, cool. And Gemini said, last entry is at 8 p.m, but they close the gates at 9. So you can go in up until 8 o'clock, but you can then stay for another hour. So I said to Kath, we're going to get to the town around about 5:30. We'll go and buy our tickets, but we're not going to go in straight away. We'll go off and explore and, have some dinner and then we'll go in just before 8 o'clock. So that was what we did. We got our tickets. We rolled up to the gate at 5 to 8. And we were the last ones let in.
Oh, wow, that was lucky. I was waiting for a horror story.
And we get in there, and there is literally, 8, 10 other tourists there.
Yeah.
And they had all left by 20 past 8. So for the last half hour, we had the entire arena to ourselves. And it's blue hour, the sky's going this beautiful, deep, mauvey, dark blue, and the sodium vapor lights outside shining on the sandstone, just lighting it up with this gorgeous orange red. And, oh, man, it was just beautiful. The darker the sky got, the better the photos looked,
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe that we had this whole place to ourselves,
What an amazing experience.
It was fantastic. And came 10 to 9, and the guard comes wandering around and starts waving at us across the arena. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'm coming.
Just wave back. Get one going. Yeah.
Felt like going, I got 10 more minutes.
You bastard. Yeah.
I think they were just waiting to go home. So,
how incredible.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, like everywhere we went was amazing. We landed in Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. We picked up our hire car and we drove out to this place. It was about an hour north of Zagreb, and it was just this tiny little, it wasn't even a village, it was just a locale called Klanjec, and it was literally less than a kilometre from the border with Slovenia. And we were staying on this estate of this guy who was like 7th generation vintner, growing his grapes, making his wine, and he had this little studio apartment nestled amongst the vines that we'd rented for the night. And we got in there and we had the worst trip over. Like, we'd literally been awake for 40 hours non-stop. I think we'd had maybe 2 or 3 hours of very interrupted sleep in that time. So by the time we got out there, we were absolutely wrecked. But he just happened to swing by, maybe an hour after we got there. And, so we had a good chat with him, and he offered us some of his wine. So we were like, yeah, sure, why not? We'll give it a try. It was actually really bloody nice. And
I think after 7 generations, I should have got it right.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, wow, this is really good. And he's going, oh, okay, I'm glad you like it. I also make schnapps. And we're like, hell yeah, bring out the schnapps. So he brings out the schnapps. It was not like Australian schnapps. It was like rocket fuel. And so I was like, yeah, no, I don't think that's quite for me, but I do like the wine. So he ended up giving us a bottle of wine to take with us.
Oh, how lovely.
Which was lovely. And so I got some photos of him, pouring his schnapps, and did a little portrait session.
You got a schnapp of him pouring schnapps.
That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah, and so that was the first night. Then the day after that, we drove.
What a welcome to a country, though. Hey?
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't it great when something like that happens unexpectedly?
Totally.
Sort of sets a tone.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing was, he said, have you got plans for dinner? He said, I can put some food together for you and bring some food to you. And we're like, no, we'll just drive down to, there was a village about 5 k's away. I said, oh no, that's fine. I'll just drive down to the village and I'll pick up a pizza. And he was like, let me ring them and make sure that they're going to stay open because, if it's pretty quiet, which it is at the moment, he said they might close early. So he rings them up.
How nice.
Orders the pizza for us, then says to me, I'll drive you down there because, you don't speak Croatian and blah, blah, blah. So he drives me down to this village. We pick up the pizza and I grabbed a few other supplies.
He's cursing you at this stage because it would have been bloody easy for me to make food.
Yeah, probably. And then, drives me back and left us to our pizza and wine. And
how awesome.
It was great. And then after that, the next day we drove down to a place called Rostock, which just reminded me of something out of Lord of the Rings, like Rivendell, where there were all of these little low-lying waterfalls.
I know not the words you speak.
Oh, okay. You've not watched Lord of the Rings. Fair enough.
No.
But basically, there's all these waterfalls, and they've built their houses right over the top of all these waterfalls.
For what purpose?
Originally, they were for milling. So they would build a water wheel on the side of the house, and they would, use the water wheel to run the mill to grind the wheat into flour, and they would use the flour to make their bread.
Seems like a lot of effort. They could have just gone down the shops and bought those.
Exactly. Where was Woolies when you needed it in 1100?
There's a lot of effort just to make a loaf of bread, to build an entire house on top of a waterfall and harness nature. It just seems, I don't know, a bit show-offish if you ask me. I've heard of your artisan breads and stuff and your boutique bakeries, but that's taken it a bit too far.
Yeah. So that was very pretty. That was located very close to probably their most famous national park called Plitvice, which is a series of waterfalls and lakes
without houses on them.
If
they'd left their own waterfalls alone, that could have been a popular tourist place too. But as it was, they put a house on top of it. You've got to go somewhere else now.
And ruined it.
You've got to go somewhere else to see the waterfall.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
They should rent out the mills as a B&B so you can lay in your bed and look at the waterfall without having to drive to this other place.
Oh, don't worry. They do. They do. You can stay in some of these houses over the...
Do they have a glass floor so you can look down the... That'd be pretty cool. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Glass floor, look down the waterfall,
We didn't stay in one of them, so we don't know. Yeah, and so from there we went across to Istria. We spent 3 nights in Istria, did a day trip up to Trieste in Italy. So that meant passing through Slovenia, so that was 2 more countries in a day. In Trieste, it absolutely bucketed with rain, so I didn't get a whole lot of photos, but I did get to have the most exquisite tiramisu I have ever had. It
really? So that was worth the trip?
Phenomenal. And I do love a good tiramisu. Yeah, so that was pretty spectacular.
Totally unrelated, except it's food related. Yeah. I was watching a video last night of a guy eating in Paris's most expensive restaurant.
Right.
And it was 130 euros for one piece of asparagus cooked in its own juice.
What? 130 euro?
For one stick.
1 ear of asparagus
with some little blobs of sauces around it.
Yeah, I think they're having a Lent.
That's what it was. It was, mind you, you could have a whole chicken breast for only 185 euro. Or they had the 640 euro set menu, but minimum 2 people.
What?
Crazy stuff. But so your tiramisu, I hope, wasn't quite such lofty heights.
No. It was quite...
And what made it so good? Was it texture? Was it taste?
Texture, taste, all of it. It was just amazing. Just I don't know if you would describe it as a sponge at the bottom, but...
I would say it's a sponge.
Yeah, just really nice mouthfeel to it, and just... nicely integrated flavours of coffee and chocolate and all the stuff, and the cream was beautiful. It was just amazing. I love
brought some home with you.
I love a good tiramisu. Yeah. So then we left the Istrian Peninsula and we drove down to a little place on the coast, only a little bit further north from Trogir, actually, a little place called Primishten. Beautiful spot. We had a one-bedroom apartment on essentially the third floor overlooking the Adriatic, looking to the west. So we got to watch, sunsets in the evenings. And just down below that property, there was this stone walkway that went into town. And it was about a K-and-a-half walk into town. And it turned out that this walkway actually extended for another 7.5 Ks further north of the town. But we just did the K-and-a-half into town and back 2 or 3 times. And while we were in Primishten, there was a moment where I said to Kath, I'm going to go and wander through the old town, and she just wanted to go and sit by the beach at one of the cafes and have an Aperol Spritz. So I said, okay, you do that. You happy for me to go for a wander? She went, yep. So I went for a wander into the old town of Primishten, and as I'm wandering all of these alleyways, I found this jewellery store run by this lovely girl, Ivana. And I stood there and had a chat with her for probably 20 minutes, half an hour. And she was telling me about all of the jewellery that she makes and how she uses this limestone from the island of Brač, which was just across the water from where we were in Primishten. And apparently Brač limestone is like world famous. It is really good quality limestone.
If you're into your limestone,
very low on impurities and that kind of thing. There's like 20 limestone quarries on this island. And so I had a great chat with her and said, can I do a portrait with you? And she went, yeah. So did a portrait with her, which couple of days later, she then posted on her Instagram and
that's nice.
Said, one of the things I love about my job
is weirdo wanted to take my photo.
Yes. Said one of the things I love about my job is interesting people you meet. And then after Primishten, we then drove into Bosnia and Herzegovina, so country number 4, to the town of Mostar, where there is what they call the Old Bridge.
What is it?
Well, it's actually a reconstruction of the old bridge, because when they had their ethnic cleansing debacle between 92 and 95, somebody decided to take out the bridge with a mortar. So they've had to rebuild it and, obviously try and stay true to the original design and aesthetic of the bridge. But the apex of this bridge is 24 metres above the surface of the river that flows underneath it.
Yeah.
And the local boys jump off it.
Nice.
But this is their income. So they try and get people to, cough up a few shekels here and there before they will jump. And I was down there in the evening, and what they'll do is the boys that are going to jump, they'll climb over the barrier and stand on the edge of the brickwork of the top of the bridge, kind of hinting that they're going to jump. But at the same time, they're still trying to get people to cough up money. And so I'm down the bottom on the river's edge with the 70 to 180, thank you, blonde robot, hoping to video it as he jumps. And he hops back over onto the bridge. It's like, And then, 5 minutes later, he's back up on the side of the bridge, and he's walking back and forth, and he's, yelling out, "No money, no funny." And anyway, then he climbs back off again. And then next thing I see, he's actually come down to this area where I was, which is where the guys who do boat rides up and down the river, it's where they pull in, and people swim in the river and blah blah blah. So there's heaps of people milling around. So I've motioned to this guy to come over, and he's come over, and I said, look, I know that this is your job. I get it. I know you need to be paid in order to jump. I get that. I said, are you likely to jump this afternoon? And he said, mate, I don't know. He said, there's just no one around. I said, well, look, how much do you need to make it worthwhile? Like, what do you need to jump? And he said, €50. Woo. And I said, man, I can't do €50. I don't have €50 on me. I said, but I'd be prepared to put in 20 if that, got you closer to the mark. And he said, mate, I really appreciate the offer. He said, but there's just no one.
And he's saying mate, is he?
He did.
Mate, I appreciate the offer.
Well, maybe I'm just imagining that. Yeah, but
it sounds very Australian.
He said, but he
said he has a good grasp of English.
Yeah, exactly. He did have a good grasp of English. I will give him that. He said, look, there's just not that many tourists around up on the bridge. And I said, well, have you got any collected so far? And he said, no, I haven't. He said, are you going to be here tomorrow? And I said, look, unfortunately, we're heading off in the morning. And so, as luck would have it, I did not get to see anyone jump. I just have to
someone should have pushed him.
Go off YouTube and watch it, but, it's not the same as shooting it yourself.
No.
So anyway, that was Mostar, that was Bosnia. Bizarrely, Kath wanted to go and have a look at the Genocide Museum, which is dedicated to that 3-year period. And I honestly had no idea how horrific that period was.
And that's why you need to go to the museum.
Absolutely. It's not exactly, an uplifting experience to do while you're on holiday, but
people still go to Auschwitz.
Yeah, exactly.
So on,
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
thing.
this was, as horrific as what happened at Auschwitz. Yeah, it was absolutely horrifying. So anyway, next day, back on the road, drove down into Montenegro, so country number 5, to the Bay of Kotor. And the city of Kotor, which is right at the southern end of the bay, behind it is this mountain that is just so steep. You can drive up this road to this lookout.
Can't be that steep then.
Literally, you get to 1,000 metres of elevation, and I really don't think you would have travelled 1,000 metres horizontally. Like, I reckon the incline is, there was 20 hairpin bends. And
you did that on your scooter?
No.
We
were in the car. No. And there are parts where, the road is so narrow on all of it. And you come around a hairpin bend and suddenly there's like 3 cars coming towards you. And you've got to pull right over to, either you've pulled over to the point where the proximity sensor in the car is just going beep. No. It's not doing beep, beep, beep. It is just solid because it thinks you are like literally in contact with the rock wall, or you've got 2 wheels about to fall off the cliff. It was so tense, and
you can't turn around and go back.
No, and all you can do is try and look for these little areas where there's just an extra foot of, gravel that you can pull off onto, So we did the drive up to the top, and the view from there was just amazing. These mountains, they just defy the imagination. I took some shots that kind of give you an idea of how big they are, but I look at the photos and go, it just doesn't. It's not the same as actually being
very,
there
very hard.
and looking at
it's like even trying to show in a photo how steep that incline is. It's really, really hard to do that people can visualise and understand. Yeah, really tough.
So we had our couple of nights there, then we drove back into Croatia, and that was the only border crossing where we really got held up for a while. It took us 2.5 hours to get through the border.
Man.
Like, it took us 2 minutes to leave Montenegro, but then 2.5 hours to get through the border crossing going into Croatia. Now, you would think that was all one border crossing, but no, they're like 2 kilometres apart. And we just ended up in this traffic jam and just nothing was moving.
Man.
But anyway, got through.
So the actual process wasn't long, but just the getting to being processed.
Exactly. Yeah. Once we got to the that second border crossing, we were processed in 4 or 5 minutes, and we were on our way. And so then we stayed in this little village just south of Dubrovnik called Kavtat, which was absolutely gorgeous as well. And then we drove into Dubrovnik, and here's the cruel irony of the whole trip, right? When we started planning our trip to Croatia in December of 2019, we were going to go in August of 2020. The whole impetus for going was that we were massive Game of Thrones fans, and we wanted to see the old town of Dubrovnik because that was the setting for King's Landing, which is like this central, city within the Game of Thrones world. We've rolled in there on the Saturday morning. We drove to where the boat was first, and we dropped off our luggage. Then we drove to the hire car place, and we dropped off the hire car. And so then we're just walking with our backpacks. And I said to Kath, it's less than a kilometre down to the old town. Let's just, wander down, have a bit of a squiz. We've got, an hour and a half to kill, and then we can head off to the boat. And she said, yep, fair enough. So we wandered down through all these alleys, find our way down to the old town of Dubrovnik, walk in there, and it's just tacky tourist central.
Yeah.
You know? And it was so disappointing. And after some of the other places we had seen in the previous 2 weeks, I was
totally spoiled.
I was like, man, this has got nothing. Yeah, this is not what I came for.
And you had such a better experience. Yeah.
When we stayed on the Istrian Peninsula, we just picked this random town called Bali because it was right in the middle of the peninsula, and we sort of knew we wanted to do a day trip north, we wanted to do a day trip south, we wanted to do a day trip west. So it was kind of a central location. But it was not a tourist town by any stretch of the imagination, There was very limited facilities in Bali, but we did have beautiful accommodation there. And, the old town of Bali, Kath and I wandered around those streets, after dark, and there was nothing touristy about it, It felt authentic.
Yeah, that's because it was.
And then we had similar experiences in, most of the other places we went. And to then get to Dubrovnik, I was just like, this is not what I came for.
We've only got an hour and a half. Yeah.
So we literally wandered up and down a couple of, alleyways in the old town of Dubrovnik, and I reckon we were out of there in half an hour.
Man.
And Kath, we got to the end of the trip, and Kath said, I would definitely come back to the Balkans. I'd love to see Albania and love to see Slovenia. And I said, yeah, I'd happily come back. I said, but you know what? I wouldn't bother coming back to Dubrovnik to see the old town,
No.
This will put it into perspective. I talk about it being a tawdry tourist trap. They charge you €40 to walk around the parapet of the old wall, the old town wall.
Jeez.
Now, that's something you can do for free in every other town, So, it was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, it sounds like your genuine experiences were far better.
Absolutely. And, Kath, if that's one thing, Kath and I do well is we travel well together because we have a very similar, appetite for authenticity. When I go to a foreign country, I want to enjoy the culture of the place. I want to eat their food, even if that does feel like a bit of a challenge for me. And I just want to see how they live. I don't want to see the homogenized version of it, and that's exactly what Dubrovnik felt like.
The Disney version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
What a fabulous trip. So just before we wrap up, this has got to be, I think I've said 8 words this podcast. It's the Bruce podcast. It's fabulous. Photographically, you said you did some nighttime stuff, a bit of panos,
I did shoot a few panos. What
was the light like? The photos I saw, the light did look a bit flat.
Yeah, look, there were very few times where I got to shoot a pano in golden hour or blue hour. They were mostly middle of the day type things, and so your light's pretty much dead overhead, and it is what it is.
You originally were planning to go in August. Do you reckon that time of year would have been different, or would have been pretty much the same? Just for anyone who may consider wanting to go.
I think if you did go in August, September, you'd be getting all of the autumn colours. Sorry, did you say August?
Too early?
Did you say August?
You said August,
autumn?
Didn't you?
Yeah, August.
August, you said, yeah.
So that would be their autumn.
Probably a little early, I would have thought.
Yeah, okay.
Well, since September, October,
maybe
November,
more September, October.
Sort of,
November,
yeah. I was just wondering, because your original plan, I was just wondering why your original plan was August, and this time you went in May.
Well,
was there any reason for that?
I prefer to travel at that time of the year simply because in Australia, all of our public holidays are front-loaded.
Yeah. Right? So you get lots of free leave days.
Exactly. So I'd prefer to take my leave, in the second half of the year when there aren't as many public holidays. But for some reason, Kath wanted to do it in May, and I've usually had my way with when we've travelled. So I said, okay, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's what we'll do,
Easy. You
travel halfway around the planet, and I mean, the number of Croatians who were amazed to see Australians was, never ceased to amuse us, because they'd go, wow, that's such a long way to come. It's like, yep, it certainly was. But you travel that far to go there, you have to just keep shooting from sun up till sundown,
whatever light you got,
with whatever light you're presented with, and you just try and make the best of it as much as you can. Hence why
Are you going to make a photo book?
Oh, absolutely. So, I sent you half a dozen images, the few portraits of people that I shot. Oh, I didn't get to tell you about the Mr. Lavender.
Mr. Lavender.
Did I send you the photo of Mr. Lavender?
You did.
I did, right?
Yeah.
So we got to this one island where we wanted to hire a scooter. And the first two scooter places we went to, there was no one at the stall. And then the third place we went to, they had no scooters left. And then we go to the fourth place.
That's because everyone who wanted one went to the other ones and there was no one there.
And we went to the fourth place and they've gone, oh, we can give you a 4-wheel buggy. And we're like, yeah, nah. And Kath said to me, I really get the feeling the universe is telling us we should not be hiring a scooter here. And I said, yep, good call. So we said, well, look, there's a bunch of taxis there. How about we just go and negotiate with a taxi where we want to go and see what that's going to cost us? And so we walked over to a taxi and we said, look, we're here. We want to go to here, and we want to finish at the fort up above the town that we're currently in because we can walk back down the hill. How much is that going to cost? How long is it going to take? He goes, an hour, and we'll do it for €70. And we said, great, done, let's go. So we bundle into this taxi and he drives us off to the first little village that we'd said. And we've wandered around the streets of this village, and like everywhere else, it was authentic and it was gorgeous and there was nobody around. It was just this quiet little village. And we were just about to hop back in the cab and head off when he goes, oh, come and meet this guy. And I make it sound like our cab driver had fantastic English skills, but he didn't. It was quite a challenge. And so we've wandered over, and there's this guy who must have been in his late 70s, maybe early 80s. And our cabbie says, this guy is third generation lavender grower. And he, presses the lavender to extract the oil. They distill it. They do this, they do that, and blah, blah, blah. And he's talking through all of the processes that they go through, and some of it we were getting and some of it we weren't. And, I'm conscious of the clock. We've been with this guy for like half an hour. And I'm thinking...
of you 1 hour.
And I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those scams where he's going to get us back to the fort, and then he's going to go, oh, well, it took 90 minutes, so, I've got to charge you more.
€35,
yeah. And I wasn't falling for that. And I'm like, no, we really got to make a move. And he's like, yeah, it's okay. And so I said, but I really want to get a photo of the guy. And so the guy comes outside, and he's got these like little curved sides, that they cut the lavender with. And I wanted to get him in a spot where there was great light, but he's like, oh, no, I've got to be standing, in front of my sign that says House of Lavender.
Yeah, he's directing.
And so I wasn't 100% thrilled with the portrait that I got of him, because it just seemed like it was going to be too much effort to explain to him, no, it's all about the light. He was more, wanting to
do some social media marketing.
Feature his business, So anyway, so we hopped back in the cab and we did the rest of our tour, and he dropped us at the fort, and I ended up shooting a pano from the fort, and then we, wandered down the hill back into town. But, look, the whole trip was just amazing. It really was.
How awesome, dude.
So thank you.
Very happy
Thank you once again to Blonde Robot for the loan of the lens. That was a lovely little addition to the kit.
Yep. We sorted that out pretty quickly, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I put that in the mail today. It's on its way back to them now. So,
So speaking of, just to finish off, so I was at Blonde Robot on Tuesday, just gone.
Right.
And I picked up a new, yet to be announced Tamron lens. It's coming out towards the end of July. I think it's being announced.
Right. So out in September?
I don't know, but something wicked this way comes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's. I'm very excited. I've been shooting with it on Wednesday. I had to go up to the country of Victoria to do a club talk, and as soon as I got to one place I wanted to take photos of, this is why you don't do landscapes. As soon as I got there, it started raining. So it's like, good on you. But I managed to get a couple of okay shots. Yeah, as a non-landscape shooter, they're okay.
So you don't generally get super excited about new lenses?
No.
So what's so different?
Yeah, I can say, but
right, okay,
it's special.
Wow. Prime or zoom? Oh, can't even say that. Oh, okay, fair enough.
But watch this space. It's going to be pretty. I love it. I love it.
Wow.
I love the construction. I love the way it feels on the camera, the way it feels in my hand, the way it operates when you use it. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's nothing to do with focal length. That's just the lens itself.
Wow.
It's. I'm hoping the next generation of Tamron lenses come out with some of this stuff, this style and feel. I even love the lens cap, Bruce.
Okay.
I love the lens cap.
Is it different to their other lens caps?
Yep, completely different lens cap. I love it. And even the box that comes in, Bruce.
Yeah, right.
It's completely changed.
Wow.
So everything about it is like, yeah. So keep an eye out for that.
Wow.
I think I'm shooting a video about it in a week or two.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So I can't wait to get back to Bangladesh with it this year and shoot with it. So
interesting. Well, I will be very interested to hear more when you can tell us more.
Yeah. So as soon as I can, I will.
Nice. And have you done anything exciting in the last 6 weeks?
Oh, not really. I mean, I've done a couple of club talks, and I went to a photography talk by a guy called Ewan Bell on the Himalayas and Nepal.
Oh, nice.
It was through Tamron, just to support them.
Yep.
And then my youngest daughter, went and had a makeup lesson on Saturday and learned how to do a makeup better.
Oh, nice.
And so I photographed her when she came home.
I saw that.
Then this afternoon, the missus needs a headshot for a speaking gig she's doing at a conference. So
nice.
To line up and take some shots of her. So I've just been doing a bit of that sort of stuff.
Lovely.
And poodling around stuff for Bangladesh and just organising a few things and trying to. Cause it's logistically everything's hard to coordinate. And
for Bangladesh.
One of the guys coming in tour can't eat salt.
Oh, jeez.
Right. And so, but when I was in Bangladesh just recently, I tried to give some variety to people. I tried to get them to steam some vegetables, to get some nice, crisp, steamy vegetables. Yeah. They boiled them in salt water. So, they were soggy because they were boiled, but they were also really salty. It's like if you can't even negotiate steamed vegetables, where it doesn't really affect anyone's health, this guy can get very, very sick if he has too much salt.
Do the Bangladeshis just not steam their veggies?
No.
How do they cook them?
They what's the word I'm trying to think of? Stir fry and stuff like that, in sauces and stuff. And but it's like a completely alien concept, and I couldn't get anyone to. I was tempted to go in the kitchen and do it myself.
Wow!
So it's just been working some logistics with Bangladesh to try and keep my life easy when we get over there.
Wow!
So it's 5 months out, but we still have to always be thinking about how can you make stuff better, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the same with you. When you travel, every time you travel, it's how can we make the next one even better? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all part of the fun.
Totally.
All right, dude.
All right, mate. Well, good to chat.
A delight to see you back. I'm glad we got this one knocked off.
Yep.
That'll do it for now.
Talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's actually. Yeah. What's the date now? It's almost July. Can you imagine that already? It's almost July in the world. It's crazy. Yeah, so maybe if we don't record for 2, maybe 3 weeks, the lens announcement will be out.
Okay.
And apparently there's 5 new lenses coming this year. So
wow.
Yeah, there's another one I know about that is not exciting, but out. So I think there's 3 other ones that I don't know about yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they may be, and hopefully there's something a bit interesting. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right, mate. We'll talk to you soon then.
No worries. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.